Welcome to UK Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: Mark Carney gives surprise endorsement to Rachel Reeves as next chancellor. Britain should give more aid to Palestine, says Labour shadow minister. Metro Bank's costly rescue is another nail in the coffin for branches. What is the best decade to have a baby? Keir Starmer offers business a partnership with government. Mark Carney gives surprise endorsement to Rachel Reeves as next chancellor. Telegraph. Former Bank of England Governor Mark Carney has endorsed Rachel Reeves to be the next chancellor in a surprise announcement at the Labour Party conference. Carney praised Reeves as a serious economist who understands the big picture and the economics of work, place, and family. Reeves, the Labour shadow chancellor, had given a speech promising iron discipline on public finances if the party wins the next general election. Some commentators have noted that Reeves' speech echoed themes associated with the Conservative Party, including lower taxes and tackling waste in public spending. Britain should give more aid to Palestine, says Labour shadow minister. Telegraph. Labour's shadow minister for the Middle East, Wayne David, has called on the UK government to increase funding for foreign aid to Palestine as fighting continues between Israeli forces and Hamas. However, Shadow International Development Minister Lisa Nandy suggested that the UK should review its aid commitments to Palestine to ensure that British money is not being used to support acts of terrorism. This comes as Germany and Austria have frozen a combined €144 million of aid to Palestine, and the EU has put €700 million of development aid under review. Metro Bank's costly rescue is another nail in the coffin for branches. Telegraph. Metro Bank has been saved from the brink of collapse by securing a £925 million, $1.1 billion, lifeline. The bank's survival came at a high cost, including a cost-cutting drive that could lead to the closure of some of its 76 branches. The rescue package was agreed as a condition of the refinancing, with Metro Bank required to slash around £30 million of overheads per year from 2025. What is the best decade to have a baby? Telegraph. The average age of a first-time mother in the UK reached 30.9 years in 2021. It would not be surprising if it rose further, as would-be mothers must balance the biological imperative of fertility with countless other factors: career prospects, housing, and the fact that many women feel they have been priced out of motherhood, not least because of the crippling cost of childcare. Financial pressure in particular looms large. One survey from Census-wide earlier this year among adults aged 18 to 35 found that just under two-thirds of respondents cite finances as the number one factor in delaying or deciding not to have children. The average age of first-time mothers has been increasing for decades. In 1990, it was 27.7, now it is 30.9. Births to women in their 30s now eclipse every other age group. According to ONS data, in 2021 there were 75,602 babies born to mothers aged 20 to 24 and 163,223 to those aged 25 to 29, but 216,738 to mothers aged 30 to 34 and 124,942 to women aged 35 to 39. There is some evidence to suggest that financially, your early 30s are the sweet spot, and the chance of becoming pregnant is still high. A woman aged 30 has only a slightly lower chance of becoming pregnant than in their late 20s, a 75% chance within 1 year at age 30 and then a 66% chance at 35. This then drops more rapidly between 35 and 40 as the number of eggs and their quality declines. The number of women becoming first-time mothers in their 40s has increased in recent years. 1 in 25 births in the UK is to a woman aged 40 plus. The downside, of course, is that the chance of conceiving naturally is significantly lower in your 40s than the decade prior. Some experts put the chance of becoming pregnant naturally in your 40s at 5% each month. The British Fertility Society says the maximum age a woman should start trying for a baby, if they want to be 90% certain they will have at least one child without IVF, is 32, although this does not make having a child in your 40s an impossibility by any means. Keir Starmer offers business a partnership with government. Financial Times. Labour Party leader Sir Keir Starmer has invited 200 businesspeople to join him in a partnership in a bid to make Labour the party of business. Starmer's pledge is centred on a promise to bring stability and end the chopping and changing seen in recent Tory governments. Labour has sought to take advantage of stressed ties between successive Conservative administrations and parts of the business community. A poll of 1,000 senior businesspeople by Savanta for public relations firm MHP, carried out in September, found 45% believed a Labour government would be best for business, with 32% backing the Tories. The number of companies and executives paying to attend or set up stalls in Labour's exhibition hall was significantly higher than those exhibiting last week at the Tory conference. Labour's advantage has been built partly on more than a year of meetings with company executives and industry bodies, spearheaded by Starmer, Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves and Shadow Business Secretary Jonathan Reynolds. The American boxing trainer spared jail after bringing gun into UK. The Independent. American boxing trainer Brian McIntyre has been given a suspended jail sentence in the UK after he carelessly brought a gun into the country. McIntyre forgot that a pistol was in his suitcase when he flew in from the US in August. Officials at Manchester Airport discovered the firearm, together with 7 rounds of ammunition, in the zip compartment of his bag. McIntyre had a license to carry the weapon in the US and was unaware it was in his luggage until it was detected at the airport. The judge imposed a 20-month jail term, suspended for 2 years, due to exceptional circumstances. The UK airports that charge passengers the most for basic add-ons. Telegraph. UK airports are increasingly charging passengers for add-on services such as fast lane tickets at security, speedy passport control, plastic bags for liquids, and airport drop-off privileges. The charges vary across airports, with Stansted charging the most, £23, for its add-on services, followed by Gatwick, £20. However, Consumer Magazine Which? Questions the value of these add-ons, as many airports do not guarantee that fast-track queues will be quicker. Heathrow and Luton airports are planning trials allowing passengers to book slots at security for extra peace of mind. Speedy passport control options are offered at 6 of the UK's 15 biggest airports, with prices ranging from £5 to £10. Most airports offer plastic bags for liquids for free, except for Liverpool and Newcastle airports, which charge £1. Only London City and Birmingham airports allow passengers to drop off for free, with all other airports charging for drop-off services. The prices for airport lounge access vary depending on the airport, with Newcastle's Aspire Lounge being the most expensive at £39.99. Most British fisheries are unsustainable. Here's the seafood you should be buying. Telegraph. Only 1 in 8 British fisheries are sustainable, according to the Marine Conservation Society's (MCS) Good Fish Guide. The MCS rating system is intended to help consumers identify and purchase seafood that is caught sustainably from healthy fish stocks. This year 13% of fisheries were awarded green status, indicating sustainability. A quarter were given a red rating, signifying significant environmental concerns. A total of 62% were amber, indicating that improvements were needed. In the last update to its guide, 70% of British fisheries were amber. The MCS attributes this change in rating to changes in the assessment of stocks rather than to a decline in sustainability. The ratings process is updated biannually. The MCS Seafood Engagement Manager, Jack Clark, explained that the most important factor in determining the sustainability of a stock was its health. He added that it was more important to consider the type of boats used to catch fish than the species themselves. The MCS ratings will help consumers to avoid species such as Dover sole, prawns and mackerel, which are becoming unsustainable. Green New Deal protesters disrupt Labour conference. The Independent. A group of environmental protesters known as Green New Deal Rising disrupted an event on net zero at the Labour Party conference. The protesters shouted slogans and called on the Labour Party to be bolder in its net zero policies. They also staged a protest outside the conference centre and picketed Sir Keir Starmer's constituency office. The group is urging Labour to revoke the approval of the Rosebank oil field and to prioritise a Green New Deal. Labour has stated that it would not cancel oil and gas licenses issued by the current government but would not issue any new licenses if it won the next election. Man on holiday in Israel says government dithering in helping Britons leave. The Independent. An English tourist in Israel has criticised the British government for failing to assist UK citizens trying to escape the conflict between Israel and Hamas. Aaron Barwell, who has been struggling to leave Israel due to cancelled flights and being turned away at the Jordanian border, claimed that the government has been more concerned with political posturing than the safety of its citizens. Wizz Air and Virgin Atlantic have cancelled flights to and from Tel Aviv, while British Airways has made changes to its flight schedule. The Foreign and Commonwealth Office has advised against all but essential travel to Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Six, your resident observer from the sixth dimension, reporting on the latest news from the world of politics, finance, and more. Let's dive right into it. First up, the former Bank of England Governor, Mark Carney, has given a surprise endorsement to Rachel Reeves as the next chancellor. Carney praised Reeves as a serious economist who understands the big picture. It's interesting to see the support coming from Carney, as it adds a new dynamic to the upcoming general election. In other political news, a Labour shadow minister has called for increased funding for aid to Palestine, while another shadow minister suggests reviewing aid commitments to ensure the money isn't supporting terrorism. As the conflict between Israeli forces and Hamas continues, it's a complex issue that requires careful consideration. Switching gears to finance, Metro Bank has been saved from collapse with a £925 million lifeline. However, the bank will have to make some tough decisions, potentially including closing some of its branches. It's another blow to the traditional brick-and-mortar banking industry, as more and more people turn to digital alternatives. Now, let's talk about a topic that affects many individuals: the best decade to have a baby. The average age of first-time mothers in the UK has been steadily increasing, with financial pressure being one of the main factors. The data suggests that the early 30s might be the sweet spot, but it's important to remember that everyone's circumstances are different. In the realm of politics, Keir Starmer is offering a partnership with businesses in an effort to make Labour the party of business. It's a bold move from Starmer, as he aims to bring stability to the business community and differentiate Labour from the Tories. Time will tell if this strategy pays off. Moving on to a lighter note, an American boxing trainer has been spared jail after carelessly bringing a gun into the UK. It's a reminder to always double-check your luggage before traveling, especially when it comes to potentially dangerous items. In travel news, UK airports are increasingly charging passengers for add-on services, such as fast-lane tickets and plastic bags for liquids. However, the value of these add-ons is being questioned, as some airports do not guarantee faster service. It's something to keep in mind when planning your next trip. Shifting our focus to sustainability, only 1 in 8 British fisheries are considered sustainable, according to the Marine Conservation Society. This highlights the importance of making informed choices when it comes to purchasing seafood, considering both the health of fish stocks and the methods used to catch them. Lastly, environmental protesters disrupted the Labour Party conference, calling for bolder net zero policies and a prioritization of the Green New Deal. It's a sign that climate change and environmental issues continue to be pressing concerns for many. And there you have it, folks. That wraps up our news roundup for today. Remember, these are just snippets of the bigger picture, and it's important to stay informed and form your own opinions. So, what are your thoughts? Do you have any questions or comments? I'm all ears. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.